Hello, you beautiful tube of views, and thank you for clicking on me. Today you get a really exciting treat of watching me change a FEP sheet on my printer. This is specifically for an Anycubic Photon Mono X2. However, the same principle can probably be applied to any printer with Allen keys and screws and whatever. So if you find this even in any way remotely helpful or entertaining or boring or whatever, please click the like button. Maybe even leave a comment too, see if you can get me over my fear of the camera. If you'd like to see some more stuff in the future, please click subscribe as well. But without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, take off all of the screws after turning the tank upside down. Eventually, taking off the 12,000 screw, you can then this upside down and get this brace out towards your FEP. If you turn it over, you've got another 12,000 screws on the bottom. And what I like to do at this point is just give this a wipe over and get it out of the way, give it a clean, and spray this with some IPA. It's not window and glass cleaner from Aldi, it is actually IPA inside. This is why you want to be wearing safety gloves for it, because this is a really disgusting messy job, especially after being using clear resin. This stuff stinks. Once you give that a clean, and just get that out of the way. Now you need to find a smaller Allen key with these tiny screws. Now, once you've got all of those other 12,000 screws out, you separate this frame again and just give that a wipe down. So get a proper cleaning on one. I'm going to just stick the FEP sheet straight in the bin. This is just an old silicone mat that I use to dip out my print. I've got my build plate under here, so I'm going to move that slightly away. Now I am convinced that I've got rid of all of the resin around in my general working area. I'm going to get rid of these gloves because they're sure they were made for King Kong. But now you can see that you've got two sort of screw holes, screw sizes. So we've got a divot for the bigger screws there. So that obviously goes on the top. This one has the divots in for the smaller screws. So that obviously is going to be the bottom. I'm going to put this one here, and then the one where we put the smaller screws back in, that's going to go onto the top like that. So that's how I want my frame. I'm going to get my new FEP film. I've got these in a pack of 5 from Amazon. They are by no means endorsed by Anycubic, but they are very much cheaper, and I've been using them for quite a while and very good. It's the packaging for them. And be careful with these as well, because the last thing you want to do is bend them or crease them, tear them in any way, because they are probably around about £5 a sheet. And these films come with a protective laminated cover. Here we go. There's one side off, and there's the other side off, and this thicker piece is your FEP film, which is now covered in cat hair. Thank you very much, Isla. So what I'm going to do is just lay that over the top of my frame, try and get it as equal as I can on all sides, and then goes back over, remember, with the divots from the small screws facing upwards and over the holes. Now what I'm going to do, tempt fate and get my X-Acto knife, and just to make things a little bit easier, I'm just going to poke a hole through each one of these screw holes, just so it makes it easier for when the screws go in. But you want to be very careful and going anywhere near your FEP sheet with an X-Acto knife. Or literally with anything, screwdrivers, pliers, scrapers, anything. Get that well out of the way. And now I can start to get these little screws back in, which probably are still covered in resin, so if you want to wear your gloves, by all means, I'd recommend doing that at this point. So when you're screwing the screws back in, don't want to over tighten them. They may take a little bit of forcing just to get in. Yeah, do not over tighten them, because if you over tighten them, you round off the Allen key hole thing, and then you need to buy a new tank basically, so don't do that. What I normally try to do, I will pin down each corner first, just so there's no movement at all. Another thing is I should mention is you really want to be doing this on a smooth, soft lean surface. Really, I should have put some roll underneath it. Last thing I want to do is be scratching my new FEP sheet. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the screws back in as even pressure each side. So I'm going to start from this side, put one in there, then over this side, put one in there, and then sort of make the pressure even each side. I don't know if it makes a difference, but it makes me feel better. And there we go. At this point now, you might be thinking, but Phil, my old FEP sheet was as tight as a bongo drum and this thing's floppier than Margaret Thatcher's husband. Now, we need to get our resin tank and turn it over and put it back on top of there. And we're going to get the X-Acto knife, carefully go back around and make some holes. Now this is where we need to be really careful with pressure. So the more we tighten this onto here, the tighter the sheet's going to get. So now it's important, I think, to start from each corner, work your way around. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put them in, all of the screws in, but not tighten them up just yet. I'm going to gradually and equally apply the pressure around all sides of the screw them in just so they're in. And then as you work your way around, you'll be able to see the sheet getting gradually tightened over the tank. Again, it's super important to be very, very careful because this is slightly easier than doing the smaller one. Doesn't mean to say that you can get complacent and let your Allen key slip into there. See the sheet getting gradually tighter. And now what I'm going to do is go around, start from this end, this corner, and tighten it all the way in, but not too tight. Don't want to over tighten these at all. So if you round off these screws, then you're never getting them out. And then what you should see is a FEP sheet gradually starting to get a bit more taut. And this is where mistakes are really dangerous. That's all four corners tightened. Everything else should be slightly easier. Still like to go all the way around, making sure pressure is equal each side. And double check the bolts. Now the FEP sheet, nice and tight. And now, the even more dangerous part. Get your knife again, and what I like to do is get into the curve of where the frame meets the resin tank and just cut into it all the way around, but go super, super slow. Especially slow around these corners. So this is where the sheet folds over a little bit and it can be slightly tougher to cut through. Take your time. There we go, that is how to change your FEP sheet on an Anycubic Photon Mono X2, or really any printer, because they're pretty much all the same process, unless there's some newfangled way of doing things that I've not heard about. If you picked up anything useful from the video, please click the like button. Oh, I think I've already said that, haven't I? We'll do it anyway.